Hey people, I just wanted to say that the title of this video is called Did I Break a Mirror? Because I've had the most terrible luck lately. Seriously, when I tell you in a minute, you'll totally understand. I'm not just being petty, like I've really had bad luck. I don't know, I really think I might have broke a mirror, and if so, that means I have like maybe 5 or 6 years left of bad luck. Awesome. And yes, I'm in the bathroom right now, and that's because my baby is taking a nap, and I didn't want to wake him up because he's really grouchy. So it's like echoing, and yeah, so like I'm sitting in the floor, and the computer's like sitting on the toilet with it shut, of course. Also, I don't know where everyone's getting that I don't like to be an American or that I hate America, because that's not the case. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a military wife, an American military wife, because there's nothing wrong with America. I mean, there are things wrong with America, but there's nothing wrong with being an American. So I don't hate America. I just wanted to try out being an English person. Okay, so that's all that's going on. That was going on. I think I'm getting a cold. My voice sounds like deep and like cruddy. So, anyways, so we moved to Virginia about 2 months ago. And when we moved here, we only had one car, and that was my husband's car. So we needed to get another one, so while he was at work, and he drives the stick shift, and I cannot drive the stick. So we had to get another one, so I could take the baby to the doctor while he went to work and everything. So we got an '06 Jeep Grand Cherokee, which is a fairly new vehicle. Okay, well, we got that. They charged us $500 extra than they were supposed to. And we didn't notice until we had already paid the bank, like our loan check. So we went back to the place and we were like, okay, look guys, you charged us like $500 extra and we need our money back. We need our $500 back. And they were like, yeah, sure, no problem. So they wrote us a $500 check. We went and got it cash, no problem. Okay, a few days later, the bank called me and said that we needed to pay the $500 back because the check bounced. So we had already spent the $500 on our bills. And so we had like no money. So we couldn't pay the bank back. So they completely screwed us over. So we're still like negative $200. And we're like really behind on our bills because of it. So I pretty much cussed them out because that's like, why would you write us a bad check? Really? A few weeks later, or no, maybe a week later, I was driving the vehicle and I went over a speed bump and literally my wheel, tire, and the A-arm completely like fell off on the ground. Like it just fell off the car. And I was like, okay, what the hell? So I get out and I look and I'm like, oh my God, like my whole thing just fell off and my baby's in the car and I was about to head to the interstate. And if I would have been on the interstate and that would have happened, I would have flipped and we would have probably died, especially going 70 miles an hour. So I cussed them out again. Then the tire went bad, like it just went flat. I ran over a nail, so. And then my starter went out, and that costed about $300 for repair, new starter, tow, all that. And that was the day that my husband actually came back off of his shit, like he had been gone. So he had actually came back that day, and I was going to pick him up. So my starter went out that day, like right before I went to pick him up. Yeah. Okay, so then while he was gone, I was home visiting my family. I had the Incredible 2. Okay, it broke, so they sent me another one as a replacement. That one broke a couple days later, like the touchscreen went out. So then I went to get another replacement, and they said, oh, we don't have this phone anymore, so we're going to send you the, I don't know, some other smartphone. So they sent me another smartphone, and I went home to visit my family. My husband was gone, and the day that he was going to call me, that phone broke. Like, it just turned off. I tried to charge it, and it wouldn't turn back on at all. So there's already bad luck with phones, cars, money, like, it never ends, okay? So then, one of my family members is going to send me money through Western Union for Michael's birthday, and we were really depending on, my husband's name is Michael. We were depending on that money because, like, we had none after all that shit happened. So we really needed that money. And if you know what Western Union is, basically, well, if you don't know what it is, basically, you go in there and they ask you for, like, the sender's name, his address, his phone number. You give them your ID, you put in your name, your phone number, etc. Well, this one, for some reason, had to know the exact amount, and they had to know the transaction number. Okay, that's crazy, because everyone I've ever been to never needed to know the amount or the transaction number. As long as you had your ID, they would write down the transaction number for you and give you the amount that the sender sent. So I didn't know that information. The guy that sent it, he was in a business meeting, so I could not get a hold of him. So they directed me to this customer service number, like the Western Union customer service. They were like, if you put in your information, they can give you the amount number and the transaction number, and then you'll be good to go. So I called them, and they said, basically, you have 2 tries to tell me the amount of money that the sender is sending. And I didn't know, so I guessed 150. And they said, no, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. So you've got one more try, and if you get it wrong, then, well, you're screwed. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to just guess, because then if I guess, they'll lock me out for the night. So I went outside, and I waited in my car, and I texted him, and I called him, and I was like, they won't give me the money unless I know the amount. So finally, I just went to, like, I was at Food Lion, because Food Lions have Western Unions. So I went to the next Food Lion down the road, and I went in, and they were like, oh, I'm sorry, our Western Union's down. So, great. But that's the one that just does the regular thing. Like, you don't have to call customer service or whatever. You don't have to have your transaction number or the amount. You just hand them your ID. So that screwed me over. So then I waited, and finally I just headed back to my house. And as I got, like, in the parking lot to my apartment complex, he messaged me and said, I'm sorry that it took me so long, but it's 200. So then I went back, and I called the customer service line again, and they said, well, do you know the amount? And I said 200, and they were like, well, do you know the transaction number? And I said, no, that's why I called you guys, because I need the transaction number. And this crazy, retarded lady basically said to me, I'm sorry, if you don't know the transaction number, I can't help you. And I was like, so if I tell you the transaction number, what exactly are you helping me with? Because that's what you guys are here for. Like, if there's one thing I don't know and I have everything else, you're supposed to tell me that one thing. And she was like, no, I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't help you. So I was like, are you kidding me? Like, the last person I spoke to told me if I know the amount, they'll tell me the transaction number. And she said, no, that's not how it works, I'm sorry. And I was like, all right, whatever. So I hung up on her, and I called the same number again. I talked to another guy. I told him the amount. Then he gave me the transaction number, thank God. So now I'm on my way to get my money. So I'll walk over there, hand him the paper with the information, and the girl is literally on the phone with her boyfriend. Her manager is right over there. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what? So I'm expecting her manager to do something about it, but yet she stands there and acts like nothing's going on. So then I just logically waited for her to get off the phone. I wasn't going to be a total ass and be like, hey, get the hell off the phone. So I just waited and waited and waited. And this is what I hear while I wait. Hey, baby. Friday? Yeah? Oh my God. Yeah? Oh my, really, boo? Boo. Are you for real? What? You're dirty. Seriously. That's what I heard. And finally I said, excuse me, I need to get my money. And she says, hold on just a minute. What? So I look at her manager like, are you going to do something about this? But the manager just, stands over there like nothing's happening. And I just hand her the paper and I'm like, give me my money. So she hands me this, the check, and you have to sign the back of it. There's no line on it, so I didn't know exactly where to sign. So I said, where do I sign? She goes, stop. Listen, bitch, I need my money. No, I didn't say that, but I should have. So finally she gets off the phone and she acts like a complete ass. Like she acts like I did something to her, like I offended her. I'm sorry, do your job. Who talks to their boyfriend while they're at work, while there's a customer in front of them? So anyways, so she finally helps me out. So then I go and, sorry guys, but I had to get tampons. So I, check out, and the guy behind the cash register, I thought I would joke around with him. I was like, sorry, I should have went to a girl cashier, haha. And he was like, yeah. And dude, why the hell is everybody being an ass? So then I walked out of there. Okay, I had to put air in my tire and I had to get gas because both lights were on for a low tire and for no gas. So I get to the first gas station that I find, which is Shell, and there's two air pumps on both sides. So logically I went to the one that was closest, and this one took 8 quarters, like $2, and you can only put quarters in it. Okay, obviously I don't carry around 8 quarters. So I had 3 quarters, and then I had 2 dimes and nickels. So I went in and I got another quarter because, well, I went in to trade my 2 dimes and a nickel for another quarter because when I got to the other side of the air pump, this one was only 4 quarters. Who would have thought? So as I went in to get the other quarter, I was going to put $30 of gas in my tank. So I said to her, can I get $30? Or I handed her $30 and I said, can I get $30 in gas at pump 12? She says, after I handed her the quarter and the $30, she says, I'm sorry, I have to make a purchase before I can sell you the gas. And I'm like, well, I'm purchasing gas. Like, you can go ahead and turn the pump on. Like, I'm going to get my air first, and then I'm going to go get my gas. And she's like, well, what if somebody pulls up and steals your gas? And I'm like, I'm kind of blocking the way, like, nobody's going to really pull up there. And if they do, I'll be like, hey, I'm about to get gas there. So, and she's like, well, I can't do that. And then she seriously looks at the person behind me and says, can I help you? And I was like, look, lady, I need my gas in my freaking quarter. And she's like, can I help you? And so, I kind of leaned forward, and I looked around to see if there's cameras, and I said, give me my $30 in gas and my fucking quarter. I've never reacted like that before. But after all these people had already pissed me off, by then I was just like, come on. You don't really have to act like that, do you? Okay, last thing. So then I went outside. This was the highlight of my day. This was hilarious. No more mean people. This is funny. So I went outside to put the air in my tire, and there's a guy that pulls up in front of me because he has to put air in his tire too. So as I'm putting air in my tire, he gets out of his car and he stands there and waits. So I put the air in my tire, and then as I'm done, I say, here you go, you can use the rest of it because it's still got like 3 minutes left on it. And he's like, oh, thanks. And then he tries to hand me 4 quarters, and I'm like, no problem, no big deal. And he's like, oh, sweet. So then I get back in my car, my window is rolled down. So he comes up to my window and he says to me, hey, do you smoke weed? I said, no, I just had a baby, so. He goes, well, that's okay. Like, people with babies, they smoke weed all the time, you know? I was like, no thanks. He's like, oh man, because I was gonna hook you up with some chronic. No thanks, dude. So he just like stares me down as I drive away. Alright, so that's it. If anything else happens, I think that I'm gonna go see maybe a psychiatrist, maybe a palm reading, you know, I don't know. But things are starting to drive me nuts. I don't know what I've done. Maybe I'm getting revenge upon because I pretended to be English. It's possible. Anyways, so I hope you enjoyed that story. If not, sorry. You know, just a vlog. Can't please everybody. So, later guys.